Your ambitions are sky high, and your appetite for excellence is insatiable. But your next career milestone feels like a blur. You're scrolling through LinkedIn, half for motivation, half because you feel a little bit hopeless, until you discover the SAICA Trainee Trailblazer Awards. Yes, it feels like the perfect step, the next big move. But you've never entered an awards competition? Where do you begin? We are joined by MD and co-founder of Campus Connect, SAICA Trainee Trailblazer of the Year in 2023, who at the time of this recording is soon to sign off as a CA in 2025. But I mean, he's passed his boards. By the time this drops, I could basically call him a CA. And Global Changemaker Alum for 2024, Wamashudu Mukheli. We chat about his journey to the CA path and now en route to that goal, becoming the SAICA Trainee Trailblazer of the Year in 2023. We also chat about why you should focus on your strengths, not your weaknesses, choosing accounting over football as a career and his part-time coaching life, the power of community and partnership in business success, asking who, not how, for the prosperity of your business, and more. Enjoy. My travelers on the road to CASA. Today's guest, guys, is co-founder of Campus Connect, which is, I think, a very, very useful resource for all accounting students. He provides basically free notes, so check out Campus Connect, linked in the show notes, and enjoy the episode. Welcome back, my people. This is the Road to CA podcast, the show for aspiring chartered accountants to inspire, empower, and inform the difference makers of tomorrow. Today, guys, we're in for a real one. We're joined by the superstar. If it wasn't in accounting, it would have been in football, by the way, guys. Unfortunately for Mamelodi Sundowns, and fortunately for us, he is an aspiring chartered accountant on the road to CASA. Hailing from Joburg in the West Rand, having passed his boards, he will soon be signing off as a CASA. He's currently a third-year trainee at BDO and is the SAICA Trainee Trailblazer for 2023. We have to share why and how and everything around that. And co-founder of Campus Connect, a student-founded private company offering free, quality, and easy-to-understand educational resources to students, as well as opportunities from corporates for training opportunities, bursaries, and other special student offerings. Most importantly, he's a sports fanatic and particularly loves football. He's coaching football as well part-time at Kickstarter Academy. We'll chat about that too. And is a bit of an adrenaline junkie, guys. He loves to go-kart and bungee jump in his spare time. We're joined by Coach Mukheli. We're joined by Wamashudu Mukheli. Wama, how are you, man?
No, I'm good. Can't complain. Excited to be here, man. It's been long overdue, eh?
Been long, dude. Been long overdue.
But we had to make it happen.
We made it. We made it. Okay, before we carry on with the conversation, let's go back.
Yeah.
Back to where this whole CASA thing began for you.
Phew. Mine is different from others, I'll say. Especially others in similar demographic as me.
Definitely, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. So I was fortunate enough that my father is a professional himself, and he's a management accountant. So he's in the SEMA. So you can imagine the arguments we have at home as who's the best accountant. And he's a figure that I look up to, like no one's business, right? As when I grew up, always looked up to my father. So that played a role into which field I should enter into, right, before wanting to become a soccer player, of course. And then secondly is I read a lot of books in the later part of my high school years, so basically grade 10, grade 11, grade 12. And the books I found myself enjoying was those business books. So, I mean, I did read the Dan Brown's Angels and Demons, Da Vinci Code, the fantasy we call them, right? But the books that I enjoyed were those autobiographies by successful businessmen. Your Steve Jobs, your Elon Musk's, kept on watching the Mark Zuckerberg movies, So again,
the social network.
I watched it probably like 30 times. Which led me to having a passion in business and entrepreneurship. So when that choice came, and thirdly, I was very good at accounting. And I think I told you about it. My dad once told me that focus on what you're good at, right? So, there were some parts of me that said engineering, but I was terrible in science. I had to be realistic, right? So I went the accounting way, and since grade 11, I already knew, okay, I'm going to go the accounting science way. And I always had a passion in accounting. I was good at it, went to university, and that's how I got into this journey of becoming a chartered accountant.
Do you know what's so powerful about that little, it might have been a little passing bit of advice from your father of focus on your strengths.
Yeah.
Do you know what was so powerful of it? So it was this book that I read earlier this year called Managing Oneself by Pt1. He was a management consultant back in like the 80s, 90s.
Okay.
He wrote this book in 99. And it's basically about how to manage yourself as a knowledge worker in today's world, right? In the modern working world. The 3 questions that people seldom ask and answer themselves are some of the 3 questions that either make or break your career. And that is the first one being, which is your father sorted you out with, what are your strengths? Yeah. The second one, though, which is another one that people tend to overlook, especially going into articles, which is quite a dangerous thing to do, is what are your values?
Okay.
Because the company needs to align with your values.
Definitely.
It's not just about, everyone wants to do tricks for these employers, but do they fit your mold as well is so important to consider. And the last one is, how do you work?
Yeah.
So that's, do you work on a team? Do you work by yourself better? Do you work in a bigger corporation or a smaller corporation? Those are such important questions to answer. And your dad actually helped you focus on the first one, the most important one.
Definitely. I think that's the reason why there was a bit of an off-ramp to focus on the academics, right? Instead of the football.
Yes. You would have been a footballer.
Hopefully. Let's assume so.
Yeah.
All right. But also, we come from backgrounds where a black child going in sports doesn't really excel after the sporting journey, especially in our country. So I think at home they were very fearful of that. I don't blame
justfully.
Yeah, justfully. I don't blame them. I really don't. You look at, especially football, You look at our footballers today who have retired, and you hear stories that, which is hurtful.
Man.
Looking at where my parents come from, very humble beginnings, they didn't want to see me in such a scenario. So there was a fear in them, and that's the reason why they had to mold me to go this direction, which, thankful as well.
It worked out.
Yeah, it worked out. It was very dangerous, but it worked out. But yeah, very grateful for that. But it didn't mean that I let go of my passion for football in particular. I still participate here and there.
You're still a part-time coach.
I'm still a part-time coach. I do that out of the heart. So to tell you more about that is every single Saturday. My older team knows, right? When they say this overtime, they know from 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock on Saturday, he's not available. So what I do is I coach small primary school boys in the West Rand. The basics of football. It's me giving back to my community. Because I was there as well. I was a small child from the West Rand who dreamt of becoming a footballer. And I believe I'm going to go put in politics, right? Gayton McKenzie once said a kid out from the streets, right? Or a kid on the field
is off the streets.
Is off the streets, right?
Yeah.
And that really hit me hard. Really hit me hard.
I was thinking about that quote. I was like, there was that quote.
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's just me giving back to my community in something that I love, which is football. So I coach from grade 1 to grade 7. I coach every single Saturday.
Is there anything that's transferred from that into your general life in terms of like skills and outlook?
No, definitely. That role molded me to become the leader I am today. I would say, because I did it very early. I think I was in first year university. So before leading companies, before leading teams, I led a football team. Right?
You were Coach Mukheli on the
coach.
side. Yeah. Stop punching.
That's being a leader. And I'm very passionate. There's another side of me on the football pitch that people wouldn't recognize, I would say. But yeah, that skill set of becoming a leader, leading a team into glory, facing hard. I mean, we have once lost a game, 2-1 last minute, and I'm seeing these kids cry. Oh my God.
How did you pick them up?
I don't know, man. Just tough. I went to go buy them McDonald's, I think.
Oh, wow. That works.
Yeah, works. To put a smile back on their face, But, things like that just really brings joy to my heart.
Yeah. Do you still... Because you wanted to be a footballer.
Yeah.
Right? So you wanted to... You had a dream in your heart.
Yeah.
Do you still believe in dreams?
I do. Although those dreams need to be invested. Not only by yourself, but also by external parties to a certain degree. I can sit here and say, if my parents invested in my football dream, it could be a different story. Right? But I do believe in dreams, man. I mean, Messi was not going to be Messi if he didn't have a dream.
True. But
then also Messi was not going to be Messi if he didn't have people to support his dreams. Do you get my point?
And if he wasn't Messi, they are in like the in the principle of your favorite book, Outliers.
Yeah.
There are multiple factors.
Yes, very much.
Many factors.
When you were born, where you were born. Yeah, there's a lot of factors, right? But just to answer your questions, yeah, I do believe in it though. I mean, I know it's a opposite of focus on your strengths.
Yeah. It sounds like polar.
Yeah.
Because strength says not your passion. Your strengths. Dream says your passion. Follow your passion.
And you know why? Because we're in this life to also to be happy. And following your dreams make you what?
Happy.
You need to follow what you're happy at.
Yeah. It's a funny one, hey? Because I sort of believe like you mentioned how people have to buy into your dream as well.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely true. But I don't know, man. It's like for me, the worst thing one of the worst things that I could experience is failing on someone else's terms. So I feel like whether someone believes in your dream or not, the angst that you experience from not trying, at the very least, not giving it that good 5 years of a good go.
Yeah.
I feel like that's worse than anything. So
no, definitely. You have to make the first step.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. No one's going to invest in something they don't see potential in. You get my point? So the onus is on you to show that, to make that first move, show how hungry you are. And then, I mean, I really don't believe you can make it in this world alone.
You can't, dude.
Do you get my point?
No, you can't.
I don't think you can succeed alone.
No.
Whether we like it or not, when you're in that lecture room, you needed that lecture. You didn't make it alone.
Yeah.
Do you get my point?
Yes.
It's important. It's a very important concept I actually learned recently. Because I was also that person, I can do it alone. No. Once we have successful businesses, you end up seeing the different factors that play in a successful venture.
What was the turning point for you?
For what?
For understanding that there's no such thing as an island of a man. It's always going to be a community that builds.
Also university.
Varsity.
Yeah, definitely. I think the formation of Campus Connect made me realize that. We will go into that later. That's one. And then also my personal studies as well. If I didn't go to tutoring, I don't think I was going to make it. Do you get my point? If I didn't have peers, I don't think I was gonna make it.
Wait, if you didn't get a tutor, because I know you were also a tutor.
Yeah. So I'd go to tutoring classes.
Huh.
I'll go to tutoring classes to actually help me understand certain concepts. Right? I was not gonna make it. That's me asking for help. Do you get my point? Yeah, that was a very big factor in me actually realizing, certain things you really do need the help of others in order to reach a certain goal. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Definitely nothing wrong with that. I can tell you now, 99% of successful people today formed networks, and I'm not saying required help, but had help along the way to become where they are today.
I like that you say that. Not necessarily required, but had.
Yeah.
Although you don't quote unquote need assistance, I think at a certain level of success, assistance will come. Because like let's take a startup for an example.
Yeah.
It needs at some level capital to scale. Because now in the world today, there is so much competition. You need to close all of those gaps. You need to make sure that you create moats as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And so you're gonna, maybe not need, but you're going to want to seek out assistance.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can relate to that. We were so close to failing. Campus Connect, like failure after failure after failure after failure, with those 0 rand in the account. And
how many years, with 0 rands?
It was 6 months with 0 rands, but 3 years, or let's say 2.5 years of no help from external forces, just us pumping in the money. Right?
Sure.
And then when we had no money left, when I say we, is my co-founders as well, right?
Yeah. How many of you guys?
There were 5 of us. There's 5 of us.
Okay, so there was at least a decent pool.
No, there was. We were funding it through side hustles. I would tutor, put it in the business. Others would...
Your coaching thing.
Yes, so put it in the business. Other co-founders also would have other streams of income, put it in the business. There was a time where we were like, oh guys, now this is happening for 2.5 years. Do we see success? Patience sometimes, guys. It's important, right? And then we had a breakthrough. And just like that, everything just turned around.
Was the breakthrough a particular person, or was it
an institution?
An institution.
Yeah.
How crazy is my thing is this, right? So there was this crazy quote I saw the other day. I was listening to it. The key to your dreams is oftentimes not something, but someone.
Powerful.
That's the thing, dude.
Powerful.
That's the thing. So in an institution, where'd you meet the person that you knew in the institution?
Again, networking. So one of our co-founders was part of a program. Have you heard of Alan Gray?
Yes. He was an Alan Gray fellow.
Yes, he was an Alan Gray fellow. Right?
Yeah.
He was knocking on doors, and we got that breakthrough. But then now the trick about that was an investment, right? So that the key for that, it helped us improve the product.
Yes.
That we were developing, right? And then the next breakthrough was an actual client. I think that changed everything. Makes sense, because that first institution carried us for at least, I'll say, 6 months to a year. Then a client came, and that's when it was,
the business was born.
Yes, a sustainable business was born.
Yes.
But when I say it wasn't just something that came, it was a success overnight. When I say a lot of failures, I mean it, a lot of failures.
We'll walk through those.
Yeah,
when we get into it.
A lot of failures, but persistence, and you say something about knowing your why. It's the reason why we keep pushing.
We will get into that very, very soon. You're a SAICA Trainee Trailblazer, Chief. What is it? How can an aspiring CA become one?
You have to have a purpose in life. That's what they're looking for.
Okay.
And just have a purpose in life. I went to UJ the other time.
Was this for that? You spoke on a panel.
Yes, in the panel
with a bunch of CAs. Shit, you're rubbing shoulders with the greats, eh? I mean, you're a great yourself, so
it was quite fun, right? And I quoted some quote that said, "To become a billionaire, you need to touch a billion people."
Oh yeah, you did mention this on our pre-call.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's something I learned during the formation of Campus Connect. You just have to have a purpose. That's what they're looking for, to be honest with you. Yes, you need to be a part of the CA journey, but then what makes you stand out from the rest? I'm going to make an example of you, for example. You'll be a perfect candidate for Trainee Trailblazer. Why? Because, yes, you have your studies, but then you are kind of off-ramping a bit to inspire other students about people in their field who have made it. There's a why to that, right? There's a reason why you're doing it. That's what they're looking for. The purpose. Why are you doing what you're doing? What makes you different from the others? I mean, they call it difference maker, for example, right?
Yeah.
But I think Trainee Trailblazer, as incredible as it is, it took me out of my comfort zone completely.
Because you said you don't speak.
No, I'm not a media person at all.
So you've been thrust into the limelight.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, in Campus Connect, we had a co-founder who was me before.
Okay.
So what I mean by that is I was not the face, right?
He was the face.
He was the face, and we were okay with him being the face. It was his personality. And I was happy with it. I was the background guy, doing the work. And then unfortunate events happened. Of course, he had to leave the company due to his personal reasons, right? Then I had to step in, and completely out of my comfort zone. Completely. Like when I say I'm not a media person, I mean it. I'm shy. I'm a shy person.
I love that you said that.
And
because here you are on a podcast.
Look at me.
You're a shy guy and you're on a podcast.
Look at me, right?
Yeah.
And do I regret it? No. Let me tell you why. In order to grow in life, you need to step out of your comfort zone. That's just important. Like I said, I spoke at the Under 35 networking event.
Dude.
Right? Completely out of my comfort zone. But I can tell you what I learned there is what future CEOs of listed companies have to do,
Yeah.
If I'm asked...
Guys, by the way, this was an event. So the Under 35 networking event was a SAICA event for CAs, qualified CAs, young CAs under 35.
Yeah.
So 34-year-old, these could be CFOs, these could be whoever.
Yeah.
So he's speaking in front of the who's who in the profession, essentially, you know what I'm saying?
Literally CFOs, CEOs,
Yeah.
juggernauts in the industry.
Yeah.
And I am still a trainee.
That's growth. Chief.
Yeah. So, but the skill sets I learned there is what I will apply in my next 10, 15, 20 years of my career.
Yeah.
Again, if I didn't step out of my comfort zone, where was I going to learn the skill? Whether we like it or not, your manfin, your tax, your audit, your FINAC, don't teach us the skill. You need to learn it somewhere else. And if you want to be a difference maker, again, you need to tap into certain things that not everyone is tapping into and actually make a difference and be a different person.
Sure. Gets into an idea that I want to chat about later, because I know you have some experience with, dealing with graduate recruiters, and you sort of, with your Campus Connect business, and we'll get into it then.
Yeah.
You know more or less what the recruiters want.
More or less.
You got a perspective on it.
Yeah.
An informed perspective.
The people who will tell you about that will be Luke from Apti,
No,
right?
he's a specialist in that regard.
Definitely. So with us, because we partner with Apti, we partner with Apti because we will have the volume of students. They will have the skills for recruitment. So I do have an insight as to what they want, these graduate recruitment companies, because I have worked with them, right? But we'll get into that when you're ready.
Dude, you were part of this History Makers Society back in school, right?
Yeah, I was.
What was that? It sounds interesting.
It was a society that taught us how to invest in stocks.
Oh.
Basically. It was really cool. I mean, I'm a I was not now, which I need to go back into. I was someone who was very interested in the stock market, buying Tesla at $10, type of thing. So that society used to give us master classes on the things you need to look at in order to invest in certain stocks in the market. So it was that. I was just a learner though. I wasn't really part of the leadership team.
Do you still invest?
No, which is bad. Which is very bad.
Look, it's not bad. I just think at least you have it there.
Yeah.
You can I guess maybe from this conversation, get started again sometime.
No, definitely. I have the skill set, right?
Yes.
I just don't have the time.
That's the thing.
You get my point. This thing needs people. You need to understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
The time to go read on the stock market, and it requires effort and time. But I need to go back to it, definitely. So what I do is rather give people my money to do it for me.
Yeah. No, but dude, that's such an important decision because literally a few hours ago I was reading about. So we're doing in financial management medicine. Yeah. We're doing portfolio management tomorrow, right? So now this is all about managing an investment portfolio, risk, liquidity, looking at asset allocation, looking at your objectives, looking at diversification, unsystematic risk, systematic risk. So I was reading a lot about investing and about spreads and all these different things, all these concepts. And I was like, this is not what I'm going to do full time.
Yeah.
I can just feel it. I can feel like that this is not where because I think this is also such a huge mentality shift when like you're in business and when you're wanting to be an entrepreneur. You need to learn to ask who, not how.
Yeah.
Because you can learn anything and you'll never regret learning a skill.
Yeah.
It's just I think I already understand, like when you get to a certain level, like what I'm getting to with podcasting, you can only get good at a few things.
Yeah.
You don't want to be okay at a lot of things.
100%. Dude, that's very important.
You don't. You want to be good at the things so that you can be in a room where everyone in this room fought to be here. They're the top of their field. They're the top of their area. And so when you're talking marketing, if you're like a marketing dude, the guy who's in the room with you that talks finance is the guy.
100%.
That's where you want to be.
100%. So with me, being an auditor, being a businessman, being a coach, where will I have the time to also do investments, so it goes back to your principle.
You see,
who will do it for me?
Who, not how.
100%. But no, but it's fun though. Like I really enjoy it though. If I was not an auditor, I was probably going to be an investment banker. But that's a story for another day.
Yeah, but that's just looking. What ifs? I don't like what ifs.
Yeah,
because and then
no, true.
Yeah, like we're here now.
Yeah,
we've built already now. What do we do with what we have?
Yeah,
kind of thing.
It's important.
So then, how did the trainee trailblazer competition actually go? Like, what were some of the things that you went through? How did the trainee trailblazer competition actually go? Like, what were some of the things that you went through?
So I firstly didn't want to apply for it. Let's start there.
You got nominated?
I got nominated by a colleague of mine. She's actually quite famous, Oyena.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Great, such a great person.
Yeah,
right?
She's amazing.
And then she nominated me and she's like, please apply for this. So so once someone nominates you, you also have to do the application. So I did.
And then you honored the nomination.
Yes, you have to honor the nomination, right? So you honor the nomination, put my application there. And I completely forgot about it. But take it a step back. A friend of mine, Musa.
Yes.
Won in 2022.
2022 Trailblazer, yeah.
So Musa's doing great things. I was like, there's no ways that I can win this thing if Musa won it. You know what I'm trying to say?
That imposter syndrome
came, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, Musa has his own boat. They would never choose me. You know what I'm trying to say? So that was also one of the reasons why I'm like, I'm not going to apply for this. So I applied for it. Oyena nominated me. I applied. A month or two after, I'm in top 10. I'm like, okay.
You're kind of shook.
Yeah, I'm very shocked. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. And now in this top 10 process, You need to, so SAICA come with the videographers and everything, and you need to shoot your story. Right? And so I was trying to think, how do I...
Did they not give you any guidance at all?
No.
They literally just say, we are going to film you. Did they give you like a time horizon?
Yeah. They'll
so
say
like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, so 6 to 10 minutes.
6 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Speak on your case.
Literally.
Why you should be the trailblazer.
Basically, that's what they do, right? They will say, please set a date where so that their team can come and film you. Now with mine, it was very stressful because cool, I had my story and it goes back to Musa. So Musa's story, I'm like, okay, now how do I channel mine, right? And I did a very similar concept to Musa's one. Tell a story. It shouldn't be about me. It was never about me.
This was fantastic because I mean it was so purposeful.
100%.
So his business was Diski, ne?
Yes, Diski.
It was soccer boots for kids in the rural areas. So the boots are designed such that they can be played with on gravel.
Yes.
Which is just like, wow, you're giving guys opportunity.
Literally.
You are feeding hope into the community.
Fantastic,
It's a fantastic story.
And you know what's so crazy about it? I was Musa's first customer.
Did you hook up your boys in the Kickstarter community?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
I hooked them up,
Sure.
Just to support startups. So
yeah,
with Musa, I saw his video and I was so inspired. I'm like, okay,
It was fantastic.
I even had a call with him. Hey, Anna, how should I go about this? He's like, don't make it about yourself. I'm like, okay, cool. And I think that what differentiated me from other candidates, because I'm not gonna lie and say other candidates' case was exceptional. There was one guy, he's making so much money off LinkedIn, right? Exceptional guy.
Is he doing LinkedIn selling?
I think so. I'm not sure.
It was Dan Martin.
Yeah. He even made Cocoon. You know those so you know your flags. So like, let me put it nicely. You have an accounting FS book, right?
Yes.
And his flags.
Yes.
A lot of those flags get destroyed, right?
Yes.
He made a shell that will protect such a book. And he sold that company. I'm like, oh, there's no ways I'm competing against this. No chance.
You know, that's a proper. The thing about it, it's not just about the business case.
Yes. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
It's about the purpose. Why are you doing what you're doing? Right? And that's how I molded my story. So, I chose my day. I'm like, let me take it back to Wits. I went to Wits University. Right? I already had the vision. I get to Wits and the videographer comes and says, where are we shooting? I'm like, okay, I don't know. I just said, in my head, I'm just thinking Wits. Right? And I don't know how it's going to look. And he was getting frustrated with me. He's getting frustrated with me, right? Bear in mind, I have a meeting in an hour and a half. I have to go back to work. Right? Okay, I get to Wits and we're just trying to think how we're going to shoot this. And I'm like, why don't you film me walking in the university? Right? Inspire hope. And the picture was great. You must check it out on YouTube, actually. The video is there. And I'm just telling you guys the story of how Campus Connect was born. And come the night of the awards, you know what's crazy? Come the night of the award, they're playing every single video. And I'm like, why aren't they playing mine? So there's like 10 or 11 entries, I can't remember. So imagine going through 10 videos and you're like, where's mine? Why isn't mine next? They play mine last.
Yo.
I'm like, okay. So I understand why they paid it last.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? This is the most memorable one, right? And they paid mine. The winner is, they call my name and I was shocked. I was like, oh. And the doors that opened for me was also exceptional. SAICA really did support my personal growth as a up and coming chartered accountant, and also the business. So that journey was very exciting.
Yeah. I can say, okay, number one thing, it's purpose. There needs to be a thread of purpose in this individual. It can't be too general.
No.
Because I have seen entries where, someone's doing great things, but it's like there's just no coherence between the things. It's like, yeah, they go and they volunteer every weekend. They help with the run, the children's run that helps with some amazing initiative.
Yeah.
And then they go to work. It's like, it's all good.
Yeah.
But like, how does that make you stand out?
100%.
So like, I would say there's that purpose, that through line of purpose. But then there's also storytelling.
Yep.
Which is something I think we're not trained in.
No, we're not. You need to invest in a story, right?
Yep.
And then the third one is impact.
And impact.
What impact is your initiative doing? Right? We are solving SDG goals. The inequality. That's where we hit the nail, right? It's around, there's a CA wannabe. Oh, I said it wrong. A CA, a student who wants to be a CA.
Yeah.
But doesn't have enough resources to get to that journey, right? So, me actually take you through the concept of Campus Connect. Remember, I told you that I am where I am because I required help.
Yes.
Tutoring. So, I'd go to tutoring classes just to upskill my marks. But, my father was paying a lot of money for me to go in there. 500 Rand for 3-hour sessions.
Yo, that's yeah.
Premium, right?
Yeah.
And I'll ask myself, I'll go to these classes and there'll be like 10, 15 of us in the room. Knowing how valuable those were, I'll ask myself, why isn't there more people joining these classes? And it clicked to me saying that, look, there is a huge demographic of people who don't have access to resources to attend those classes.
Yeah, 500 Rand for 3 hours.
That's
cash, hey?
That's cash.
That's cash.
Bear in mind, there's a lot of students who are NASFAs who probably send money back home for their family to have a meal. Okay?
Yeah.
And me and this person have the same dream to become a chartered accountant. Why is it that me, who has the resources, will be able to make it, but
they can't?
They can't because of the lack of resources, right? And so that is a big problem. Very, very big problem. And I came with my friends and we're like, okay, guys, there's this concept. Why don't we disrupt the tutoring industry? Literally, that was the idea. Let's disrupt this tutoring industry. We got together and Campus Connect was born. Why don't you offer educational material? Fun. It must be fun to learn as well, right? It shouldn't be boring. Because notes were there. They've always been there. Notes to study. People used to sell notes as well. Again, premium, 500 Rand for just notes on standard costing, for example.
Yeah.
Do you get my point?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And we're like, no, let's make this thing free. Not knowing that we're going to make money out of it. You know what I'm trying to say?
But you also didn't know about the mountain that lies beyond making something free.
Yeah.
Because it's tough.
We're going to make it free. We'll use our own money to make it work. That was the goal. See, we're not doing it for monetary purposes. That's what I'm trying to say. It wasn't for monetary purposes. We're doing it because we had to help our brothers and sisters who needed it the most. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say there was not a lot of sacrifice. Co-founders of mine failed third year, failed second year because of the purpose and drive to help the next person. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Sacrifice. We knew there was a bigger cause to this thing. And we had to make a success. And we kept on failing, but we had to go, not do tutorials. I don't advocate for this, but not do tutorials because there's a deadline. This has to be published so that we can unleash it for test 2. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Just sacrificing certain things that we had to do, but there was just a greater cause of it.
Yeah.
But we solved the inequality gap, saying that whether you have 500 Rand in your pocket or not, you deserve an equal chance to
get through
your university today. So that was the SDG goal of inequality that we were trying to solve.
Campus Connect is going to be in the show notes, right?
Yep. Campus Connect. That's my firstborn baby.
The firstborn.
Yeah.
Can you explain to us like what you guys do and how students can use it?
Okay.
To be continued in part 2. See you next week.